Welcome to the session. Today's session is on a professional English teacher in a global context. More than 1 billion people worldwide are learning English as a second or foreign language, and the number is growing. The total number of English speakers has grown from 1/4 to 1/3 of the global population, says Professor David Crystal in 2008. The British Council reports that the speakers of English as a second language use English on a daily basis. Teaching of English has changed in recent years. The main thing that has been recognized is that when it comes to listening and reading comprehension, students need a more informed awareness of the varieties of Englishes that are used around the world. It's no longer enough to be familiar with the British and American English only. Students meet people from all over the English-speaking world, both offline and online, and need to be prepared for their idiosyncrasies. As teachers, we are experiencing these changing trends and perceptions in our learners and need to be equipped to meet and satisfy the demands of the mass. We need to be more professional in our outlook, improve our skills and practices, and empower ourselves. We need to cultivate professionalism. So what is professionalism? Professionalism is a specific style of behavior in a workplace. It is the values and professional roles exhibited in our behavior. The Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines professionalism as, I quote, the conduct, aims, and qualities that characterize or mark a profession or a professional person, unquote. And it defines a profession as a calling, requiring specialized knowledge and often long and intensive academic preparation. Professionalism encompasses specialized knowledge, competency, honesty, integrity, accountability, and self-regulation. Professionalism should be achieved. It will not come automatically. Let us discuss how to achieve it. Continuing professional development. Continuing professional development, or CPD, is a planned, continuous and lifelong process whereby teachers try to develop their personal and professional qualities, improve their knowledge, skills and practice, leading to their empowerment, which in turn result in the improvement of their agency, their organization and their pupils. CPD is a multifaceted, lifelong experience which can take place inside or outside the workplace. It often moves beyond the professional practices into the realm of a teacher's personal life. Professional development consists of all natural learning experiences. Those conscious and planned activities are intended to be of direct or indirect benefit to the individual, group or school, which enhance the quality of education in the classroom. It is the process by which teachers alone and with others review, renew and extend their commitment as reforming agents. Through this, they acquire and develop critically the knowledge, skills and emotional intelligence essential for a good professional thinking, planning and practice with children and colleagues throughout each phase of their teaching lives. Professional development of a teacher proceeds through the following stages. First of all, number 1. Awareness. The teacher has heard of the professional practices. Number 2. Understanding. The teacher knows what the professional practice means and why it is important. Number 3. Engagement. The teacher demonstrates competency in this professional practice at work. 4. Integration. The teacher demonstrates a high level of competency in this professional practice and then consistently informs what she does at work. Here is a framework which the teacher educators and all those with an interest in and responsibility for the professional development of teachers can adopt. The British Council Framework of Continuing Professional Development. The British Council's CPD framework provides access to self-assessment for teachers and teacher educators about their knowledge and skills. English language level assessment, benchmarking of teaching professionals' English language skills, analysis of needs for clients and partners, large portfolio of modular training and development materials, and assessment of impact of professional development. Some of the practices that can be exercised by a professional teacher are planning lessons and courses. This involves defining aims, learning outcomes that meet a learner's needs and the course objectives, selecting suitable activities, resources and materials, dividing lessons into coherent stages with realistic estimates of timing, planning, board work, planning, grouping of learners, planning for differentiated learners, and anticipating problems that might arise during the lesson and planning how to respond to them. Understanding learners. The teacher should understand learner characteristics such as level of attainment, age, interest, preferred ways of learning, group dynamics, motivation to learn both generally and in relation to specific subjects, educational, social, cultural and linguistic background, and any special educational needs and learner personality. Managing the lesson. The teacher must explain learning aims and content appropriately, make effective use of resources and equipments, give instructions effectively, check the understanding of the learners, respond to unexpected classroom response, use language appropriate to learners' level, establish and maintain a positive learning environment, and maintain classroom discipline and learner motivation. Knowing the subject. Knowing the subject means developing and demonstrating proficiency in the target language in order to provide a good model for learners. It includes selecting appropriate methodology and resources for introducing and practicing specific areas of the target language skills like grammar, lexemes, phonology, and fourfold language skills. Managing resources. Managing resources means developing, adapting and selecting materials and resources with an awareness based on learners' needs and syllabus fit. Assessing learning. The teacher must assess learning by applying the principles of assessment to design tasks for measuring learners' progress. She must analyze learners' errors and provide constructive feedback. Integrating ICT. The teacher must integrate technology in the production of teaching materials. Taking responsibility for professional development. The teacher must be able to understand her professional needs, materials and learning preferences in order to identify areas for development. She must identify the developmental pathways available to reach specific career goals and use technology to facilitate professional development. She must stay up to date with developments in education, in teaching and learning. Using inclusive practices. By adopting inclusive practices, a teacher treats all learners equally and with respect and recognizes and values diversity among learners in relation to areas which include language background, cognitive ability, academic ability, physical ability, social background, behavioral differences, disability, age, gender, race and ethnicity, sexual orientation, religion and belief. Using multilingual approach. The teacher needs to adopt multilingual approach by recognizing and valuing the multilingual nature of societies, schools and classrooms. Promoting 21st century skills. 21st century skills can be promoted in classroom instruction by developing an awareness of and proficiency in critical thinking and problem solving, collaboration and communication, creativity and imagination, of course, digital literacy. The teacher must select appropriate methodologies and resources for introducing, developing and evaluating the learner skills in the above areas. Understanding educational policies and practices. The teacher must employ professional and pedagogical practices that are consistent with applicable policies related to areas including the goals of education, educational governance, learner empowerment, educational reform, inclusive education, literacy, access, equality, diversity and inclusion, language policy, post-compulsory education pathways, child protection, the curriculum, syllabus and methodologies, assessment, teaching standards, ICT, 21st century skills, etc. She must locate up-to-date and relevant information about national, regional and institutional educational policies and practices. Some of the ways of nurturing professionalism in teachers are now going to be discussed. Nurturing professionalism in teachers. Teachers can nurture professionalism by keeping a reflective CPD diary or journal and an action plan for development. She can carry out small-scale classroom-based researches, participate in seminars and conferences, online or blended workshop or courses. She can observe and work with peers and experiment with new resources and new ideas in the classroom. Global demands and career opportunities of an English teacher graduate. In the 21st century, we may no longer be able to predict or know what work is for our current or our future English graduates as technology, employment and economics change and evolve in a multiplicity of ways. Most students either do not have a realistic view about the options available to them, or they do not know how to get a job in the area that most interests them. The careers that English students usually take up are journalism, teaching, media and publishing. SAIT's Employability Survey 2005 says this. In 2001, a study by CHERI, the Center for Higher Education Research and Information, asked graduates to rate their strengths compared with other graduates. This was stated by Martin and Gostrop in 2004 in their work. English graduates rated themselves highly in the following areas that match well with the English benchmark statement of written communication skills, oral communication skills, documenting ideas, and information, creativity, tolerance, appreciating different points of view, and critical thinking. These skills, especially writing, creative, and communication skills, offer endless opportunities in online teaching, publishing, editing, event management, content writing, anchoring, news reporting, hosting, running commentaries, etc., all of which require mastery over the language. The job market for the English teacher graduate is strong enough to accommodate all those who prove themselves to be excellent in language. He will be paid to live, travel, and work in any foreign country. Challenges of teaching English in global context. Cultural differences in the classroom. We expect culture shock when setting up in a new country. Every culture has its unspoken rules and little cues that determine normal interactions between students and teachers. Next, there is a lack of discipline. Classroom management is of greatest concern for new teachers. Not understanding what an acceptable discipline strategy is in a new country and feeling powerless leads to difficulty in handling classes and maintaining discipline. Next, there is disinterest from the school authorities and colleagues. In many countries, workplace hierarchy is very distinct, and as a new entrant, you may not be considered equal to the status of other teachers and may lack support and guidance from school authorities and colleagues. It can only hurt your feelings. It can also seriously hurt your productivity and efficacy as an English teacher. Then there is difference in pedagogy. Teachers need to teach students how to use language in the global context. So, a teacher's pedagogy is likely to be scrutinized by the clients. While seeking jobs outside India, most often we are asked for international language proficiency certificates. Let us have a look into some of the language proficiency tests and their significance. International Language Proficiency Tests. What is language proficiency? According to Collins Dictionary, proficiency means, I quote, the quality or state of having great facility in an art, occupation, etc., or being skilled, unquote. Language proficiency represents the measurement of how well an individual has mastered a language. Proficiency is measured in terms of receptive and expressive language skills, syntax, vocabulary, semantics, and other areas that demonstrate language abilities. Language proficiency includes 4 domains: reading, writing, speaking, and listening. Why is it that there is so much talk about language proficiency and proficiency tests? The reasons are multiple, with cognitive, academic, or social benefits. Multilingual applicants have more chances of getting the positions than monolinguals. Advanced study of literature, history, politics, or culture of a particular country requires proficiency in a language. Individuals who speak and read more than one language have the ability to communicate with more people, read more literature, and benefit more from travel to other countries. Knowing other languages provide access to cultural treasures of other countries, opening up opportunities. Learning a foreign language gives students opportunity to appear for international examination like TOEFL or Tesol or Ielts, etc. The International Language Proficiency Tests provide standardized gauging of one's ability to understand the command over English language. Some of the tests are TOEFL, Test of English as Foreign Language. TOEFL is the most widely accepted English language test in the world. The academic institutions and agencies in more than 130 countries have recognized this course. It measures fluency and knowledge in English language. TOEFL test results is valid for 2 years. The next one is Ielts, International English Language Testing System. Ielts is now the world's leading English language test for candidates who want to study or work abroad. Ielts is the world's most popular language test for education and immigration, according to British Council ruling of 2013. Ielts is recognized by the vast majority of universities around the world, and also companies use Ielts as a recruitment tool. Ielts is valid for 2 years. The next one is Tesol, Teaching English to Speakers of Other Languages. Tesol provides a base for teachers to teach English as a second language or a foreign language. It encompasses TEFL or Teaching English as a Foreign Language and TESL or Teaching English as a Second Language. It is time to summarize the session. English as a global language has great reach and influence. English teachers are in high demand across the world. This module discusses the importance of teaching English in a global scenario, innovations in continuing professional development, the British Council framework of continuing professional development, and global demands and challenges of an English teacher. Some certification programs for teachers who aspire to teach abroad are also dealt with. Before we attend the next session, please try to answer the following questions. 1. Design an action plan to become a professional teacher in English. 2. What is the essence of professional development? 3. What is the significance of CPD assessment? 4. What are the challenges of teaching English in the global context? 5. How do teaching professionals progress? Books for your reference are Professionalism, Skills for Workplace Success by Pearson Education and written by L.E. Anderson and S.B. Bolt in 2014. Foundations of Bilingual Education and Bilingualism, 4th edition, brought out by Multilingual Matters, written by C. Baker in 2006. English Next, UK British Council, written by D. Gradall in 2006. This is available online. With that, we come to the end of the session. Hope this was beneficial for you. Till we meet again, goodbye.